We'll let Paul stay on the host for a little bit. So he'll be sharing his screen. So if we have some examples we need to go to, then we'll be referring to him. I did want to go ahead and go into one thing too. I was talking a little bit through the chat with Brianne, and she had a couple questions about the global issues and being able to update more than one issue at one time. If you haven't used global issues, that is a way of using Issuetrak to update more than one issue at one time. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be an agent doing that. It's the people who can update the global issue itself. When you promote an item to a global issue, then you can control its view through some of the properties that you have. One of the options in there is to be able to add a note to all of the children issues. So a global issue essentially is one issue, that is the parent, and then multiple issues associated, which is the children. And that particular item, it gives you that ability to say, okay, if I update the parent, then it'll update all of the children, and it'll add a note to each one of those children issues. So it does give you the capability of adding more than a note to more than one issue. And you can do other things too with the global issues that way. For example, if you wanted to go in and change the issue types, you can promote that down to the children. Substatuses can be added to the children also. You can even close all of the issues through the global issues. So in some cases, you have the global issues. They go ahead and then they're added in there, and then you can go ahead and see them.
Hey, Mike, there was, while we're talking about global issues, and you know I defer to you two as the product experts all the time, how do we fire off multiple issues? And the data alignment may not always support it, but the features within the product. Isn't it within global issues?
Yes. Sometimes when we first started that particular functionality, we called it Firestorm. We had a customer that had a major request for us. They needed to have a way of creating an issue for a particular global event. For example, they had a reporting issue and they wanted to send multiple issues out to customers that were in the site. So you can do that. Paul, since you're working, could you go into CS training for just a second and go into the properties of a promoted global issue?
I sure can.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're actually going to promote a global issue. So we'll find an issue and promote it to global. That's what we're going to do. When we do that, then we can show you the options that are going to be available.
How about this one, Mike?
That sounds good. Let's go ahead and promote it. You'll see there's a promote to global on the left side. So we'll click that. And when we click that, it's going to give us our options. And at the top is the visibility option, so that you can go in and let it to only be seen by people who have access to the issue. You can change it so it's only in the global issues organization or to all users and all organizations, or it can be for just the agent users. And when you scroll down and you promote that particular item, this is where the cascade events are created. So we're going to make a promote here so that we've got a global issue. So we'll do that first. And then now the global issue is successfully created. At the bottom of the page now, it's given us a prompt for additional items to link to it. Now, we're not going to do that. What we want to actually do is, if you scroll up just a little bit, Paul, we want to submit new issues to link. So what we can do is we can then select where we're going to pull these issues from. So we can do it by asset, by location, by organization, even by user. And then there's even field first name, which is coming out of the special function table. Now, a lot of times what happens is this is usually done by organization, and there's a contact user in the organization record and in the location record, and I believe it's also in the asset record, that is being used to submit this issue by. So when we select the organization, we submit the issue underneath the contact user's profile. And that's the contact user we want to send the issue to based off of the organization or the location record. So it's very simple to do. You click on the organization. It'll give you the list of the organizations below. In this particular case, this user can only see operations. They click the add, and if there is a user, they can go ahead and submit the issue. And I don't believe this one has an organization or a contact user in it. but you would need to make sure you've got a contact user. In this case, the contact user ID is going to be the admin account. It's just going to send it to admin.
So let's do one that's got a little bit more underneath it. Let's do one issue per user here.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that.
I had a question about this earlier today. Somebody I was talking to had asked me, well, I need to create 100 issues, one for each user, and brought them right here. It's kind of serendipitous. So.
Yeah.
And this is the way our support team uses their Issuetrak. They use the location field to define whether you're on-premise or cloud. So when they're pushing an update to the cloud environment, they just go to the location record and flag all of our cloud customers. It opens a ticket for them all.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So as soon as you click essentially at the bottom, I think it's going to be an update, you'll hit submit new issues. It would go ahead and create one issue for each checkbox. That's what it would do.
All right, now and I'll go ahead and do it. We'll go ahead and create some new issues here.
Yep.
And you see there's a pop, you guys see the pop-up window.
And then when you're done with this, I have another one to throw at you.
Perfect.
And see, all of these issues now will be linked to the original global issue. You had to pick a lot of them, didn't you, Paul?
I just want everybody to get the full effect here. It's a teaching moment, right?
A teaching moment, yes.
From the teacher that read the textbook the night before class.
Yeah, that's us.
It's going to take it a minute to process all those issues here.
Okay, so while we're watching the hourglass, question came up on receiving notifications on assignments, and when this is done and the screen's given back to you, can you show us the calendar and the out of office and how that works?
Sure. In fact, we can let this chew on it, and we'll go to a different page. I'm just going to minimize, and we'll go to the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay for everybody?
Sounds good to me.
So here's our calendar, and I'm going to do no filter. You can see there's not a lot of events in here right now, but let's see if there's anything at all. Nothing at all.
I don't think there's anything in there, Paul.
And this doesn't look a lot like a calendar to me. So I'm going to show our views here, and we can get the monthly view. Now you see it looks actually like a calendar.
Why don't you add a webinar event for today, Paul?
All right. Today is the 12th.
Today's the 12th, so we're going to add a quick event.
Did I spell that right? I-N-A-R.
Don't ask me. You know how I spell.
Well, that's true.
And it does require both a title and a description. That's what Paul is having to paste it in both sides.
3 p.m.
Yep.
And you can see here. And
one thing to notice too, there's an issue number on here. If you put an issue number in there, it will provide a clickable link back to the issue. And hit your save.
And there we go. Now if we go back to our views, look at it like an actual calendar, you can kind of see. And that happened kind of quickly, so I'll hit the back arrow and show you guys again. You can see it right there. Now, that's the calendar at the basic level. The other thing we can do with the calendar is those automatic replies, which is what Tony was asking about, or asked us to kind of show here. With an out of office reply, you can say, "Hey, Mike's not available. This issue would normally go to Mike. It's not available, so we're going to assign it to somebody else." And I'll show you that.
Now, the out of office is only available for agent users. It's not available for end users, which is probably the only time today we've mentioned agent users.
Right. And I'm going to say Mike's out, and he's out all day today because he's been busy getting ready. He's been busy reading the release notes like I have.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just going to give him 1 day. There you go. And we're going to route his stuff to me, unfortunately. And I even have the ability to route emails separately. So email notifications that would normally go to Mike, I can have those sent to me or sent to a group.
And we're talking about things like assignments, next actions, and tasking.
Right. And you can see there are groups in here. I hope I'm not scrolling too quickly, but you can see there's a lot you can do with the routing the emails or the predefined assignments too. I'm just going to route both to me.
This is a really helpful feature when you have maybe a lot of auto assignments. You don't want to have to go in and change a lot of the auto assignments themselves. You would prefer to just be able to set a out of office like this to reroute your email and reroute your assignments. And it does not prevent you from still assigning something to someone who is out of office. It still can allow it. You may want me to handle something tomorrow that you prefer Paul not to handle. So it does still have that capability.
And we'll go back to our global issue and see, all right, here's all our global issues created, and maybe we want to assign this one to Mike, for example. So here's that example from the global issues. We created one issue per user. Well, it's an issue that we can assign just like any other issue. Currently, it's assigned to Agent A, but I want this one assigned to Mike. And I clicked Edit. You could click Assign or Add Note to get to the same type of thing as well. And there it is.
Unavailable.
Unavailable.
But again,
I know the text on that is a little small when you're actually viewing it in a webinar, but when you look at that in your actual Issuetrak site, you'll see it's very noticeable. It really gives you that. And if that was happening because of an auto assignment, it would automatically be routed to that unavailable, to me instead of to the unavailable user. And you see I was able to assign it to him even though he is out of office because I did it manually. All right, does that cover what we need to know about?
Yeah, that was
automatically
the functionality that I was looking for. Just wanted to show that.
I want to respond to a question that Lauren had in here. She had put a question in here about do mass updates update the data and closed issues only? It depends on the query that you write, to be honest with you. But the answer would be yes, it can. It can do closed and open issues. The query is what it does. The results of the query and how you write the query in the mass updates functionality determines the values that are going to be updated. So if you include closed items in the query, yes, it would update them. We did that because we had some capabilities when we added the class functionality many moons back. We wanted to be able to go back and do both open and closed items so we could get good reporting on items. So that's why we do allow both closed and open items. So you just write the query to whatever you want, and it'll update the records from the result query. Now, if you're not familiar with that, that is in the administration section. It's under the mass updates capability. You use the report writer's query builder to select the data. So it's just a standard database query, and then you use the results of the query to update the values.
Okay, Mike, thanks for that. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. We do this once a month. It's the second Thursday of each month at 1 p.m. Eastern. We do it on rotating topics. Do you want to give people 10 seconds on what's on next month, Mike?
Next month, we're going to make a switch, especially on the main presentation. The main presentations in the last 3 sessions have all been kind of what users can do. What we're going to do is kind of do a little bit of different session next time, and we're going to start talking about usages. One of the first pieces of feedback we got is, I really want to know more about help desk. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to have Paul and I kind of do kind of a joint session, so that even the format's going to be a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and investigate how Issuetrak can be used for a help desk environment. And then in follow-on sessions, we'll start doing some others that'll be more in tune with a particular usage of Issuetrak. So probably over the next 4 or 5 of these webinars, we're going to really focus on usage more than permissions and things like that. I don't really remember, to be honest with you, what's going to be the deep dive for that particular session. But if you do have any kind of suggestions that you would like to hear, these deep dives especially can be very flexible. I can go ahead and change those up pretty quickly or chop them up into 2 sessions depending on what you want. So please provide us any kind of feedback notifications on those. We had a question about would you get a notification about the next webinar. The same emails will be sent out next time. So yes, you will get some notifications on the webinars. They always are going to be the 2nd Thursday of every month at the same time from 1 to 3 Eastern. So please join us again next time. We really appreciate it, our time. All right. In that case, we're going to shut things down. We're running a little bit late. A couple of you sent us a couple things we didn't get a chance to actually have questions about. If we did not answer your question, please go ahead and send an email into proservices@issuetrak.com, and Paul or Tony or myself will go ahead and try to respond to those questions. And again, we apologize if we didn't get a chance to respond to your question today. So thank you for attending, and until next time, have a good day.
Bye, everybody.